Hi, I'm Carleen, and this is Nutmeg Nation. I have with me the one and only Kirani James. Hi, Karani.
Hi, how are you doing,
I'm
Colin?
good. I'm good. A
Uh,
fellow Grenadian, you grew up in Grenada, and you are the first Olympic athlete to win a gold medal for Grenada. You put us on the map. It's amazing, all your achievements, everything that you've attained thus far. So tell for those who don't know about you and your upbringing, what was it like growing up in Grenada, in Gouyave? Like, what was it like?
First of all, let me just say, how long have we been scheduled this interview now for?
It's been you were scheduled last time. So
Yeah,
it's been a process. It's been a while.
it's been
Yeah.
a while from the initial message to
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah. I'm just
yeah,
so happy that we're here now and we're making it happen. It took us a while, but they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. So I sent you an email. I'm like, I wonder if you got that email. And then I sent you another email. Then you finally got back to me. You have no idea. I was so excited. I told my friend, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he got back to me. I didn't even think that it would happen, So,
I'm glad it could happen. So growing up, yeah, I grew up in a town in Grenada called Gouyave. That's where I grew up. Spent
mhm.
most of my life
Yeah.
up there. Grew up with two older brothers, a younger sister with our mother at that time. And primary school, I went to St. John's Anglican Primary School.
Hmm.
That's where I went. And secondary school, I went to Grenada Boys Secondary School. I was actually supposed to go to St. Rose, which is in Gouyave too. But then, things happened and I ended up well, not ended up, but, I got transferred into GBSS. So
Oh.
a lot of good things. But growing up here, like if you know, like growing up in Gouyave is a fishing town. So, that's like one of the main industries in Guam, fishing. And if you grow up close to the bay or the beach, then that's something you see every day. You see fishermen coming in, from the ocean with the fish. Fish market was right there, all that. So that was kind of just a normal thing growing up, seeing a lot of the fishermen going, like even like with the nets, casting nets and all that. Like that was normal. The other couple of times, I was there. I was pulling my net too, helping. So all of that was really kind of just like I said, growing up, it was normal doing these things and having those experiences. So these are things that I always cherish in my memory, and I would never forget it. Never forget that area that I grew up in. And, like I said, every time I try to do something positive, whether it's on the track or off the track, that's always on my mind. So, but nothing too, crazy or anything, just kind of normal upbringing. But just growing up in that kind of industry was really interesting to me looking back at it.
I grew up in Grenada, and so we're in different parts of
Yeah,
Grenada.
yeah, that's
Hmm.
that's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I'm a city girl and you're the country boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. That's what they call it.
You know what? It's interesting. You talk about the fishing, and now they have Fish Friday, and I've been before, and it's a big deal. You go up on Friday and you try different kinds of fish. So
Yeah.
hearing you mention the fishermen coming in and just what that it's a fishing town, so for those who don't know about Guave, and that's why I guess Fish Friday is a big deal because that's what brings tourism in. And obviously during Carnival, that's another big thing for Grenada. But even hearing you talk about that experience in itself, I'm like, oh, I just learned something new about Grenada. I'm always learning stuff about Grenada. It's a beautiful island. People can't believe how small it is, but at the end of the day, we are like the underground sculpture museum is one of the
Mm.
top 25 wonders of the world. So the fact that we're contributing to that is amazing. And just hearing you say, like, you just had a normal upbringing. So I'm going to tell everybody who doesn't know, you are the world championship winner in 2012 London Olympics gold medal winner, silver medal at the 2016 Rio Olympics and bronze medal at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. You know, they say when you're in your journey in life, it's not where you're going, it's where you came from. And so when you say you think about the memory of being part of that fishing community, when you're on the track and you're ready to run and the gun goes off, what do you think of?
What do I think of?
Yeah. What is it what is like the gun goes off and then you just go. But do you have a vision? Like it's very nerve-wracking. Like for
Yeah,
us who's watching you on the world stage, you know what I mean? And when that gun goes off, it's like I'm an athlete myself and I ran the 200 and the 100 in school.
mhm.
When that gun goes off, it's like, do or die at that point. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it's similar. It never changes. But I think for me, you just want to focus on your race, focus
Hmm.
on what you're supposed to do, especially in that moment.
Yeah.
Is you want to, whatever strategy or whatever focus or whatever plan that you have, I think you want to focus on that and executing to the best of your ability. Now, where it gets interesting is like throughout the lead up, throughout the games or the meets and all that, you always want to. Well, for me, is always about focusing on just trying to represent, everyone that's affiliated with me, whether it's stakeholders, whether it's family, whether it's community, all that. You want to go out and do your best and try to make them proud. So, yeah, leading up to it, yeah, obviously you're thinking about those things, right? As to, okay, how am I going to perform? How are people, following the races? Are people knowing, what channel it is, what time it is, to make sure that everyone can tune in and do all those things. So yeah, leading up is always a little bit more, I would say, not nerve wracking, but is a bit more surreal when you kind of look at everything all that's there in stake and how much you want to represent and to kind of make everyone proud, especially in that aspect, in that small aspect as well, not a small aspect, but an aspect in sport where you have something where people could galvanize and people could come together and support. So sometimes, yeah, it feels like a little bit of a responsibility to go out and always kind of perform at a certain level because the expectation is always there. So yeah, going into those meets is a lot more interesting in terms of navigating all those emotions and all that. So yeah, but the race time is focus on the plan, and just try to execute that in that moment for that 45 or whatever seconds.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you train for 4 years for that one moment in time. And it's like anything can happen on the day of. It could
Hmm.
be the wind is a little too strong. It could, you have so many people, false starts and all that. But going back from the beginning, you were 14 when you won your first race. So how did that feel? Did you even realize that, this is something that you could do professionally?
Yeah, I remember there was a games called the CUT Games, Caribbean Union of Teachers Games. I think that year it was in St. Lucia, I think. And that was my first time actually leaving the country on a plane, on a Liat, dash it, all of that. That flight felt like 10 hours, even though it was just right there in St. Lucia. So that was my first time of going out and competing internationally. And I think I was about 13 at the time. And just having that experience, especially when you see on TV, you see Jamaicans, you see Trinidad, folks from Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Bahamas. You see them all on TV and you're like, okay, well, hopefully, especially at that level, maybe somebody could get there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And just looking at it, going out there and competing. I think it was at games where it's almost like you're doing all the events.
Hmm.
I remember I was doing the 400, the 200. I think I won the 400, and I got second in the 200. A Jamaican beat me in the 200, and like I said, I won the 400. So I was competing against, like you said, all those guys from Jamaica, Trinidad, Bahamas, Barbados, all the other Caribbean countries. And I think it was from that moment where it was like, okay, like I'm at that level in terms of just natural ability. Like we're all at that level. So now it's about just kind of focusing and just using that as a platform and a springboard to propel me to try to do well. So from there, I think in 2006 my first year in my hometown club called Speed Zone. That was my club in Gouyave. The coach at that time was Coach Albert Joseph. And he coached me throughout my whole youth career. And from there, from coming out off of that games, I was like, okay, let me start taking athletics very seriously. I'm not going to play too much football anymore. I'm not going to play too much cricket. No, not too much basketball. I'm just going to focus and zone in on this one sport. And I think
Yeah.
that's when it kind of hit me and to kind of, like I said, open my eyes, not just to go in, whether it's to the Olympics or anything, but how many opportunities it could open, like coming up to the US, getting scholarships and all of that. So it was I would say that was the first time I had, where I felt like, okay, this could be something great. And then we mentioned 2007 at World Youth. I think I was 14 at the time, and I was running against, athletes that were 16, 17, right? So
Yeah, you're 14, you said were you
yeah,
13 or 14?
I was 14 in 2007.
Oh my
I think
goodness. Wow,
I
you're
was still
like,
14. I was
yeah.
14 going on 15.
Yeah.
I think that was in Ostrava, Czech Republic, where we had the
Wow,
World
Czech
Youth Championships.
Republic. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so I was competing against all those guys. And maybe as I was young, maybe it's just some naivety in it, where I was like, I don't know how this is gonna play out. I don't have to think too much, just run. And yeah, and I had good performances. I got a silver medal in that World Youth Games at 14. So, like I said, all of that was just more evidence of, this could be something that I could be really good at. And from
Yeah.
there, like I said, at home, you have Carifta Games, GBS for Sports, you have Intercall.
Yeah.
Intercall is always a big deal in Grenada,
Yeah.
so like I said, you just kind of go from strength to strength with there. But, it was a lot of factors that came into play, a lot of people that were in my life at certain points that really helped me, whether it's just advice, whether it's just, like I say with my club, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of, people that are influential in terms of making me reach where I'm at today. So it's a wonderful experience. And looking back, I could only be grateful and humble that I've had all of that in my life.
It's amazing to watch you. And, for me, I've been watching the Olympics since I was a child, and I've always love track. It's one of the most popular events at the Olympics. When we talk about the summer games, you hear the announcers. There's like, we know you were waiting for the track event. Like,
Oh yeah.
this is it. It's because we're looking at the times. Who's going to beat the times? Like, even for you this year, I believe from what I heard, I don't know if it's true that Usain Bolt is going to be in Paris. Going back to what you were saying about the people who were part of your journey to where you are now and not realizing it. Because when you're young, you're like, I can't believe this is happening. When did you realize? I think was it before you made it to London that you realized that, that there's some potential for you to make an impact or even compete at the international level. You know what I mean? Like against the world, you're at the
Yeah.
world stage.
Yeah, like I said, that was always, like I said, since 2006, 2007, there was always a potential,
Right.
potential because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
How you nurture that talent is always going to dictate how far that talent goes. So even then, there were even conversations about, the Olympics or World Championships and all that. So It
Mhm.
was always, I wouldn't say expectation, but it always, the potential of all that. And if you
Right.
remember, like I've always, in 2008, I was in World Juniors, got a silver medal there too.
Mhm.
2009, I was in World Youth. The second time,
Yeah. Yeah.
16, 17. and I won the 400, won the 200 there. 2010 World Juniors, I won the 400 there. So there was always like a very, I would say, prolific progression with me when it comes to, going from the youth level, going up to the senior level. And 2011, when I went to World Championships, and I won that. And then the Olympics was following the following year. Obviously, there's even more expectation. So like I said, it's always been there. Even when I was in World Juniors in 2008, I remember I was competing against guys that were already in college.
Wow. That's so
So yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So when I went there in like 2010, I went to University of Alabama. Like I was seeing some of the same guys against in 2008. So like I said, it's always been there. Like I said, I'm just grateful that I've had a lot of people, in my life to help me. Like I said, my youth, my club coach in Grenada,
Mhm.
Coach Joseph, my college coach and professional coach, Harvey Glantz, and then just there's so much people in my community that helped me. And even like I said, then the expectation and the support was always there. So yeah, it wasn't just, like, you just aiming for 1 year in 2012 or whatnot. There was just always a nice progression going from
Yeah.
level, university, then, and yeah, and it all kind of came together in 2012 Olympics.
I have to say, 2009 to 2010, I think that was the lead up, right? That's where you kind of figure out that, I'm going to, after winning, I read that 2010, you were offered scholarships at 10 US colleges. Why did you choose Alabama?
Why did I choose Alabama?
Yeah. I mean, you have 10 colleges offering you opportunities to train, to study, to experience the university life. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
just about competing in track, it's your education, your future. Why Alabama?
yeah. Well, for me at the time, the whole reasoning was, you know, for me personally was when I was doing all the visits and all of that. I think I only ended up visiting 3 or 4 schools really, right? Out of those, I don't know if it's 10. Maybe there was 10. I don't know if it was all that.
They
But
offered it to you.
I'm just
10,
yeah,
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 you were offered 10 like scholarships at 10 colleges, but obviously who's to remember? I mean, that was 14 years ago. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
you can't remember everything in life, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, for me, it was about, like I said, it was about growth and it was about having good people in my life. So it was about, okay, where can I go where for the next 4 years, I could not just grow as an athlete, but grow as a person, you know? And the head
Mhm,
coach at the time at the University of Alabama, and he became my personal coach, Harvey
mhm,
Glantz.
mhm.
I think he
Yes.
was the main reason why I chose Alabama. When I went up there for a visit,
Mhm.
just seeing how he interacted with the team, the teammates that were there at the time, all of that, it just kind of gave me a bit of comfort knowing that, okay, if I'm going to spend 4 years of my life here, then I know that I'm in safe hands, that I'm going to be looked and taken care of.
Right.
So that was kind of the main reason. It wasn't just about pure, okay, this program has won X amount of titles or they have X amount of prestige or anything like that. It was more about the substance, more about the people and who I'm going
Mhm.
to be around. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, you could be in the best system or the best or the most prolific whatever, and you could be around people that are not really helping you grow as a person. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, is what I'm doing is going to end at some point. So for me, it's about, okay, what can I do where I can carry something that I would have for life, and be for me, being a good person or trying to be a good person and learning and growing in that way, like you would have that, for the rest of your life. I think that's what's going to matter more in your life than any kind of accolades or any kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
so I'm glad I went there and I had that experience. And like I said, Coach Glantz, he was my mentor, he was my father figure, you know, all
Did
the
you
all
have did you
the
were
time
you
that
were
we
you
were together. So yeah.
yeah. Were you close with your father? Were you close with your mom? Like you said, he's your father, kind of like your father figure. So,
Yeah, well, you have to remember when I was 17 when I left for university,
right.
right? So, and I
Yeah.
was there in a place where, you know, in terms of having that close family, like I was there on my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, when you have people that could look out for you and give you good mentorship and care for
Wow.
you more than just, what you're doing on the track, that would always mean a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it shows you that, they value you more than just an athlete, but also as a person. So that's why I say that. So
Yeah.
it is, yeah. So when you look back at it, like, yeah, like it made a world of a difference.
17. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. I'm thinking about being 17 again. And, at 17, I was in what, grade nine? As in grade 12, like one more year of high school,
Yeah, high school.
and yeah, at
Yeah,
17, you're so close. It's like, for me, I was part of the last class at grade 13. I was the last class of grade 13 here in Toronto. And it was a double cohort. So the pressure was on. It was like, I was applying both to colleges and university, and I got into York, and I wasn't sure about going to York either. Like I was
yeah,
like, should I go to York? And then one of my friends was like, I'm going to York. I think you should go. And they
yeah.
offered me a scholarship. It wasn't the best. Like it was like, it covered some of my books, Karani. But I was like, but I'm telling you now that you're making me age myself here, but it's been I graduated at York in 2008, and two of my closest friends I met at York, and it's been one of them. It's 20 years that we've been friends. And had I not
Yeah,
gone to York, I
yeah,
probably wouldn't have met them. So, it's
yeah.
like you said, you choose your path, like, and you don't know what the outcome will be. But had I known, like, who's to say I would have, like, here we are now, here and now. Today is like we're in January in 2024. And
Mhm.
who would have thought that I would be speaking to like the gold medal Olympic champion, right? Like this is a moment in time that I probably will never forget. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, I remember where I was when you were running because my aunt, she even told me, she was like, oh, there's this guy, there's this guy, Kirani James, like this youth champion. Watch out for him. Like they're saying he could be the next one. And so I was watching you throughout your journey. So
You said you moved when you were what age? You
uh,
you moved
oh yeah, I was 6 when I got
you were
here.
6.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Yeah. Do you
Hmm.
remember any of the time before when you were at home or anything?
Yeah, I do. I was a little troublemaker. I remember a little bit of stuff. I remember like where did I go? The Burien school? Like I
Yeah,
remember the fall edge, walking on the fall edge because my I don't know if you know this part, but my grandmother's house is by Grand Beach there. And I remember one time you're making me think about this. It's so funny. So, anyways, you wear uniform to school every day, and I was a
mhm,
little troublemaker. So I think my mom, or I don't remember who braided my hair, but someone braided my hair and I didn't like the style, Karani. So I took it out. And my dad came to pick me up and he was like, what happened to your hair? And I'm like, I didn't like it. And then I think they redid my hair, but I was a troublemaker in school. And, they give you money for your snacks, like at recess or whatever you call it back home.
yeah,
And I spent my bus fare money. So I didn't have money to get home to get on the bus. I don't know who covered it, but somebody did. But I
yeah,
remember getting in trouble for that. They were like, why did you do that? And not thinking, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I had to get home because I don't remember how much the bus fare was or I think it was like
yeah.
50 cents or whatever, but I
Yeah.
spent my bus fare money.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was back then. Yeah, back then it was 50 cents. Back
right?
then, I think now is
Yeah.
are you think you're used to like the weather and all that now in Canada? Or
No,
you
no.
no? You never get used to it.
No, no, no.
I don't
It's
know how you guys do it.
I don't know how I do it either. I complain every year. I'm like, I tell my aunt, I'm like, I have to come back. I can't do this. I don't know how much longer I can do it. It's over 30 years. It's
Yeah,
Karani yesterday was minus 24 with the wind chill. I was wearing mittens and everything. Like you can dress for the cold, but I always say to myself, I'm like, if I had the money, I'd probably buy property in Grenada and, be
yeah.
a snowbird.
Yeah, anything negative on a thermometer doesn't sound good.
And for you, your training, you'd be in all the indoor facilities here. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, you would have.
yeah, Canada
Yeah,
is a great place. Yeah. Here in Toronto, a lot of people, a lot of changes have happened, but the people are friendly and stuff. And every time I go back home, it's kind of like a culture shock in a way because I don't
yeah.
come back every year, but everybody's so friendly, And when you go back, my grandmother's house is right by Grandaunt's Beach, so it's a 5 minute walk. And if you know the White House, like you go up the hill, but you know where the Texaco gas station used to be, right in Grandaunt's there, like you're going up, going towards the golf course.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's my grandmother's house is right there. So
Oh, okay.
I tell her, I'm like, Granny, you got the best view in Grenada,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
not about good.
for sure, right? Grand
Yeah.
Anne's Beach, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Did you go there a lot when you were younger? Or did you do
No,
more stuff in Guave?
no, not really. Yeah, most of my stuff was in Guelph. Maybe
Oh, okay.
one time they might take us on like in the school year or in the semester.
Hmm.
Would call it like field trip or like bus party or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they would take you to Grandlands and then they would take you to whether it's Camahan or somewhere,
Hmm.
and you hang out and then you come back. But yeah, most of the stuff was in Guelph. I didn't really know Grandlands until I got a little bit older. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. Do you consider yourself a fisher? Are you a fisherman? Do you know how to fish?
No, not really. I know how to, but I haven't fished a lot. My
Okay.
parents, they were always a little bit concerned with, going out, especially with somebody else, you know. But,
Hmm.
yeah, but I used to, one of my friends, his dad was a fisherman, and we used to, like when they came in, like we would like go and we would like carry some of the fish like to the fish market, and then we would like clean the boats and all that. So I did that for a little while. And I remember the first time they they paid me because you get paid for that. And they came to my house and they gave me like a $20. And I was like, that's it. I was like, you can't tell me nothing. I was like Macklemore, in that video where he's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm buying everything with that $20 right now. I was
How
so
do
excited.
you, oh my gosh,
I was
your
so
first
excited.
key, yeah. $20. I mean, at that time, I'm sure you could buy a bit of stuff with that, but
Oh yeah, that
now,
was good. $20 was a lot
yeah, yeah.
at that.
Now $20. I'm like, how did I spend $20? Like I just bought, like even now, it's like, what do you show for it? Like the dollar is like,
Yeah, that's a bus
easy.
trip going Grand and back. But
Right? Exactly.
get some food, everything to eat, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. But your journey is so amazing. I have a question for you. When you won the medal and you went back to Grenada, what was that like? What was the feeling like? Tell me.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something I always remember because it was just a celebration of everything.
Hmm.
Like a celebration of my achievement, a celebration of athletes in the past, like Darlene Francisque, like
Oh, I remember Alan Francisque. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
like
Wow.
all those guys that came before me. It was,
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it was just a
Wow.
combination of everything. So it was just a special time. And like you said, for Grenada, to win a medal at the Olympics, I don't think anybody could, write that in a script. So, just being able to do that and kind of put the country on the map in that sort of way, and just seeing everybody celebrate and everybody being proud. I mean, it was a special moment. And yeah, I don't think it's something I would ever forget. So yeah, yeah. Even nowadays, like even when I go home, there's at least one or two people that would kind of reminisce about that and how that moment was. So there's always a reminder when I go home of
Mhm.
how proud and how excited and how exuberant everybody was about that
Yeah.
moment. So
No, it was
yeah,
a beautiful moment. Yeah.
beautiful.
I was right there with you. I wasn't in Grenada, but like I was like, I can't believe it. Wow. Because it's not like we have a lot of people that have won and like a medal, a gold medal at the Olympics. So,
Yeah, that
and
was that was the first that was the first and only medal at
yeah,
that year.
you are making history. You don't even
It
like, you're
was
just like, you
it
made
was
history in
yeah,
2012.
it
You
was
did.
I mean, it was, yeah, like I said, it's
Yeah.
something nobody has ever seen.
Yeah.
Especially from a country of 100,000 people.
Hmm.
Like I always use this comparison. Like I said, I went to Alabama and our football stadium, Brian Denny, was 105,000 people. So I always use that analogy of telling people, like, we
Hmm.
have a country that you could full into a stadium, that you could pack into a stadium in Alabama.
Wow. I never even thought about it that way. Yeah, I'm here. So I'm in Toronto, but there's different parts of Toronto, like the GTA, Greater Toronto Area, and I'm here in Brampton. And there is more people in Brampton than there is in Grenada, like
Mm.
just alone.
Yeah.
So it's a good comparison. I will think of that when I think of Grenada. I'm like, wow, it fills a stadium.
Yeah.
Wow. Mesmerizing. I know. You know what? Everybody knows each other and people say hi, and it's a small town, and Grenada's like a friendly, like it's so friendly. Like we are the only country in the world that does not have a military, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And there's a lot of history in Grenada. People don't realize it. And
a lot of history. Yeah.
yeah. And you've created history without even realizing it. Like I'm sure when it happened, you thought about it, right? And you're like, oh, but for the rest of the world and us Grenadians, I say to you, I'm like, I can't believe you did it. You did it. You made your mark. You could stop now, and it would be like you're in the history books. You're on the Olympic website. You're there. Like and you've done more than you could ever know. Right. So we're
Yeah.
yeah, coming from me, I'm like, as a Grenadian, I'm proud of you. I'm not like I was born there. I wasn't raised in Grenada, so I have a different experience. But as someone who was born there, and my parents, my mom and my dad, they're Grenadian, and the history, it's just like it's good. It's a good thing. 2024 Summer Games in Paris. Leading up to that, what as an athlete, how does it look like? You're training every day. I know, for those who don't know, you're actually not even in Alabama, you're in Arizona. What's it like training there now? Like, I mean, is that your training ground, or?
Yeah, I've been living in Arizona since 2012, since 2020.
Okay.
It's been a while, so I'm kind of used to how everything is. Yeah, I think the main thing is the weather
Mm-hmm.
is a lot more consistent
Mm-hmm.
than a lot of other places. There's other places where there are good training bases like California, Florida, Texas. Those areas have a similar kind of consistent weather. So yeah, I've been here. I'm really enjoying it. Even though it's a little bit cold this week, which is surprising for Arizona.
Yeah. Always warm there. Yeah. Dry
Yeah.
heat. It's kind
So
of
that's
yeah.
what we call it, dry heat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if it's dry heat. It's furnace heat to me.
Have
But
you been to Las Vegas?
I have been to Las Vegas. Yes.
So I think I haven't been to Arizona, but I've been to Las Vegas, and somebody told me this, but I didn't realize it until I was there. The dry heat it affects you if you're not drinking a lot of water. So what happens is the temperature's so dry that you could go a long time without eating. Like I remember the first time I went to Vegas, I was like,
Yeah.
how come I'm not even hungry? And they're like, you need to
Really?
drink water because the humidity, you're not feeling the humidity like you would in any other part of the world. But the
Yeah.
dry heat does affect you in that way because you're not hydrating. And if you're not hydrating, your body's not used to that. So it's a little bit different, I think, is what they
That's
say.
that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned it to me. They're like, make sure you stay hydrated, keep drinking water because you
Yeah.
won't realize it until like you've passed a couple of hours and you're like, oh, I'm like, I'm not even hungry, but I
Yeah.
need to eat, right? Yeah. It's elevated. Consistency is an important thing when you're an athlete, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think you have to do as someone who's at that stage in your career? Like, what's the most important thing for anyone who is a track athlete, the up and coming athletes? What advice do you have for them?
The advice I would have for to them is to focus on your priorities, I would say.
Hmm.
For me is a little bit different because I'm a bit older
Hmm.
than them. So
Yep.
uh, yeah, for me it's just being consistent and trying to avoid injuries, listening to my body a lot more.
Hmm.
Because sometimes when you're young, when you're 21, 22, I mean you're $6 million man. Like nothing and nothing knocks you down. You know,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
sleep for 3 hours and you wake up and you're fresh.
Hmm.
As you get older, that doesn't happen anymore. So you have to take real good care and listen to your body. Know when it's time to relax and to maybe take a step back and not put too much pressure on your body. But for the younger athletes, I would say to be consistent and just focus on priorities, and focus on, whatever path, whatever goals that you have is to do things that are going to contribute to it, and if your goal is to be the best athlete that you can, then yeah, you know what your priority is. It's your training, is your recovery, is, you know, your diet, it's your, focus on doing everything that you can to help maximize whatever you're trying to achieve, maximize potential in whatever you're trying to achieve. So I can't tell you what your goals are. Some people goals are different and that's okay, but if your goal is to be compete at the games and to do your absolute best, then you have to focus on those things that are going to help you get there. It's not a secret, it's not some, you know, science or whatever. It's you do those basic things,
Hmm.
then that's 90% of what you're supposed to do is those basic things.
Right.
So yeah, is about focusing on that and doing that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the advice I would give them. I wouldn't give them any type of training advice or anything like that. So um
That's good advice.
just focus on that and those
Yeah.
kind of things.
No, even for me, as every year, you go through like the New Year's resolution, and I don't really do that, but I do goals because
Yeah,
goals are long term. They could be short term goals or long term goals.
yeah,
But at the end of
yeah,
the day, we're all trying to achieve something, some more than others. Like some are,
exactly.
some of us have a path in life we're supposed to do something great. You know what I mean? And obviously, you're here to do something great, right? Who knows? I mean, you were born and then, your parents raised you the best that they could. And obviously, you had the natural talent. You just needed the people to back you, to support you, and to help you get there, right? So sometimes it is about the natural talent at the end of the day, right? Did you have someone growing up, like did you watch the Olympics? Was there someone that inspired you to do track? When did you know? that you wanted to focus on
Yeah,
track?
in terms of, I wouldn't say somebody that inspired me to do track.
Okay.
I would say, to be honest, I was just following my older brother.
Oh, really?
He was a sports
Oh,
guy too. Like he was one of those athletes that
oh,
in everything.
yeah.
Just one of those guys. So he was like I said, when I joined my club Speed Zone, like he was a part of it. And
Hmm.
I just followed him and tagged along with him at that time. But his main joy was always basketball. But like I said, he was somebody that did he was one of those athletes that was, like kind of gym top that could do any and everything, right? That could, play basketball, play football, could long jump, high jump, run, volleyball, everything.
Hmm.
In terms of getting really into it, I would say him. But in terms of the inspiration from on a Olympic level, I mean, it had to be for me. I mean, it was Ali Francique. Like I think growing up, I think everybody remembered, in 2004, how much of a expectations there was on a lot of excitement. I would say
Yeah.
when he was competing. I remember, like you had to wake up early to watch the races.
Hmm.
I guess what are that games? I think it was somewhere yeah, I think it was in Europe at the time, I think. And he had to get up early to watch some of his
I
races.
remember. I remember. I
So
remember
people were waking up
watching.
early and
Yeah.
people were excited. And
Hmm.
sometimes if
Yeah.
you don't have a TV at home, then you go over to your neighbor and your neighbor has it on. Your neighbor is like, look, he's running now. And, so I would say from that standpoint, from on that level, like he just raised the excitement I think for every kid that was growing up in that time.
Hmm.
In 2004, if you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like he was the inspiration in Grenada, I think, around that time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, in terms of on a professional level and an Olympic level, like he was a guy that, you were looking for inspiration and saying that, yeah, like he's Grenada, he has the flag on his chest and he's representing us. So if he can get there, then we can get there too. Like we're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was very important for him,
Hmm.
especially for my generation growing up, especially the athletes growing up. He was I think the main inspiration for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I was like, I can't believe he didn't get it. Like it was just, I think he came in fourth. I can't remember
Yeah, it was.
exactly. Yeah. See, we both remember. Yeah. I remember watching that too and seeing him compete. And it's interesting. I was like, is anyone else gonna do what he did? Because I mean, he was the closest in terms
Yeah,
of Grenada being on the map at the Olympic level.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, a lot of people before him and after him. I just, like you said, for me, I think I got to tell you, 2008. So you said in 2008, well, where were you competing? Um, there's something about 2008. Anyways, you made me think in 2008, I was in Grenada. I graduated university and I went back home. I told my dad, I'm like, I want to go back to Grenada. We were having a reunion and I was back home and my aunt and I, we were watching the Olympics in Beijing together. And I just remember watching Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt. It was just amazing to watch, like even though you're not there, it's like the amount of excitement they bring. So you have no idea. Like, I mean, even when you were running, I was like, oh my gosh, is he gonna do it? Like, I think I had to like make sure I made it home on time. And
yeah,
like, I'm like, I don't want to miss the race. And it's like you said, like if you have to go out to a neighbor's house or if you have to go on a break when you're at work, like the Olympics, you make sure like certain events that I can't miss it. I can't. So, but yeah, it's a journey, it's a process, and it's a whole different thing. Like, I mean, even this year, do you have any other events that you have to compete at before the Olympics, or is it just training?
Yeah, usually my season starts around the auto season starts around March.
Yeah.
I usually start around April, mid-April,
Hmm.
end of April,
Yeah.
where there's always a series of meets. There's continental
Hmm.
uh, meets. There's different levels. There's gold level, there's silver level, there's bronze level, and then there's a diamond league, which is kind of our main circuit races, which
Yeah.
everybody wants to compete in.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a couple of those races before the Olympics.
Yeah.
So hopefully I could get a good, you know, at least 6 races in before the Olympics to kind of prep and to kind of have a season, going in. So that's
Hmm.
usually always it's always been,
Yeah.
and yeah, there is always a season. What people don't, like realize, like they see it every year, but they don't realize like Olympics, like World Championships, like even the name of the championships or the event might change. A lot of times it's the same athlete, right? So a lot of times you're still competing against the guys that you already know. And sometimes that what just changes the name. So for me, like every year, there's always a major championship, whether it's World Championships, whether it's Olympic Games, whether it's Commonwealth Games, there's always a high level that you want to aim for. So it's
Hmm.
not just about like every 4 years is like every year, you know. You have to be ready. You have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
ready every year
Oh my gosh. You know what?
because it's the same guys. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it never really stops. It's not like you're in a 4 year prep. It's like a year by year prep. And yeah, like people don't even realize like, yeah, it's the same guys. Yeah. Same guys you're competing against that they're going to be there. Same guys that were there last year in Budapest. 90% of them are going to be there this year. So
Oh
it
wow.
should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, no, I'm excited for you. I'm excited about the Summer Olympics in Paris. It's going to be fun. I mean, there's so much to look forward to, and you just don't know until the day of. Like, I mean, this year the Olympics is starting. I looked it up. July, was it July 26th? Am I right? Remind me, Karani. When is
Yeah, I'm not sure when track and field. I think track and field starts a week later, but yeah.
hmm
So
hmm. Yeah, that's when it starts. I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, we're already second week in January, and it's like, oh my God, wow, time is just flying by, isn't it? Like, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna be 40 this year, Karani.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe it, you know?
I would
Uh,
never tell.
sorry?
I couldn't tell.
I
So
know a lot of we just age so gracefully. People are like, "Wow, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." They can't believe it. I can thank my mom and my dad, for giving me some good genes, right? So, there's one more thing I think I want to say before we get into that. I'm Carlene, and this is Nutmeg Nation. I'm sitting with Kirani James. Olympic athlete, the first gold medalist for Grenada. You were talking about your goals and focusing on your goals and your health and your fitness. And I remember reading when you had a time in your life and you found out that you have Graves' disease and
mhm.
you were dealing with that. How was that? Like, I mean, obviously there's always obstacles that you come upon.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was an obstacle.
Yeah.
It was a surreal kind of experience because you never really imagine like these things would just happen.
Hmm.
And even though, yeah, like it might have happened over time and maybe like you ignore certain symptoms because a lot of times as an athlete, you think that it's just having little moments, right? You
Hmm.
just have
Yeah.
so yeah, you just power through it, you train through it and all of that. So, at first, we weren't sure what it was that was happening. It could have been anything. It could have been something with my blood, it could have been cancer, it could have been then when we did the test and it was Graves' disease, it was surprised. I was surprised just like everyone. And from there it
Yeah.
was just about finding out the right treatment plan, the next steps to take.
Hmm.
just try to go from there. I've never, tried to be too negative on it.
Right.
You know, try to accept it for what it was and what it is.
Hmm.
And just try to focus on, okay, how can we get better?
Yeah. Yeah.
And try to wallow too much or like be down or anything. And yeah, just okay, this is what it is. This is what I have. Okay, what are the next steps? Let's work towards that. But at the same time, be patient and understand that it will be a process and not try to push yourself too hard, or if you're not seeing the improvement that you want, to try to get, feel down or anything like that. So yeah, it was just something that I had to accept and just try to listen to my body and just try to improve day by day, get better. And I would say now at that point where I'm at, I'm pretty stable. I'll still have to do lab works like every 3 months to make sure that the levels are where it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's something that, I'd have to take medication for the rest of my life just to maintain
Oh,
my thyroid levels.
yeah.
But it is what it is. I have to
Hmm.
accept it, and I have
Yeah.
to just try to make the best of it and try to focus on it. And, if somebody comes along and they have a similar issue, then I know how to help them and how to guide them, how to give them proper advice as to how they would feel, how they would not feel, what, kind of treatment they're getting or anything like that, to just kind of give them, broaden their perspective or broaden their knowledge of it. So, I could do that, especially from an athletic standpoint. I know there's a couple athletes in the past that had it. So
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
forward, if I think the main thing is, yeah, it happened to me, but that doesn't mean that I can't help the next person, go through that experience and have a more supportive cast in going through that experience, and just giving them support in any way I can.
No, you know what? Anything in life, things happen that there's things that we can control and there's some things that you just can't control. And that's one of them. Right. And so is it hereditary? Like, is it
No,
in
it's
your
not. It's
family?
not.
It's
No, it's not.
not.
It's not.
No. Okay.
No, it's just
So for those who don't
there
know,
isn't a specific cause
oh,
as to
really?
what could trigger it or anything. Sometimes it just could be, your body just overreacting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, listening to you talk about that this year, I'm anemic and I've always had to take iron supplements and it's in
Oh,
my
okay.
genetics. And I understand what you're saying with that. So you're gonna have to take something for your thyroid for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? So with me, I had a time where I was, you said you ignore your symptoms. So I was ignoring symptoms of like when my iron is low.
Yeah.
You get cold, you're out of breath. Like I remember like walking up the flight of stairs in my apartment here and I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I so winded? Like, and those are the things that as someone who's been dealing with this most of my life since I was like 14 or maybe even younger,
Yeah.
and then I ignored it. And then it got so bad that when
Yeah.
my doctor called me at 3:30 in the morning, Karani. I'm like, what? Who's calling me at this time? So I went to
Yeah.
go get the results. Like, you do your regular checkup. So I
Mhm.
went in November and I went and did my checkup. And then he called me on the Friday morning. I'm like, why? I'm like half asleep. I'm like, who's calling at this time? And
Uh-huh.
then he left a message and then he called again. And I'm like, hi, Dr. Amayu. He's like, yeah, Carlene, your iron levels are really low. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're going to have to go to the hospital. I'm like, the
Yeah.
hospital? Is that bad? He's like, yeah. He's like, the lab called me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. It's one of those things you ignore it until it gets
Yeah.
really bad.
And I think that's the thing with, like, I guess with hindsight or looking back, where it's like you could more pinpoint a lot of these things.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what when I say like you could help the next person, you know, in the future. If somebody says, oh, I'm feeling this way, my eye feels sandy, okay,
Hmm.
okay, you need to check this and
Yeah.
see what's going on. You
Yeah.
know, I think sometimes that help. Like you say, we all go through things. I think the main thing, if we could help the next person, that are going through a certain experience, and I think that's making the best out of it, out of
Hmm.
our situation. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. You said you experienced that. And I could tell you, like, I have a coworker. He had something happen to him that happened to me. And I saw it. I'm like, you need to go to the hospital like today. And he
Mhm.
didn't listen to you didn't go that night, but he went the following morning and he's like, Carlene, I broke my ankle. I'm like, yeah. When
Yeah,
you showed me
yeah,
how it looked, I was like, you need to go. I'm like, I don't even know how you manage that. I'm like, your tolerance for pain is a lot higher than mine because I remember that pain and I'm like, there's no ignoring this.
yeah.
I was like hoping I broke, like I remember when I broke my ankle, I thought I sprained it, Karani. And when the doctor came with the exam, I was like, no. He's like, yeah,
Mhm.
you fractured it. It's a minor fracture, but so now I know for myself. Like when he told me, I was like, what? You sure?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not something I'm like, you got to go now. Like, because it just makes it worse. The longer you take to take care of something like an injury, right? So,
yeah,
yeah. I'm so happy that we finally had this conversation. Eh, I have to tell you this, it's been a dream of mine. Like, I was like, you just helped me accomplish something that I didn't even think was attainable. I didn't even know you were going to say yes. And when you did, I was like, I can't believe it, and talking to you now, you're so humble. So it's just, you never know what to expect in life.
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm glad it all worked out. It was
Yeah.
speaking with you.
Yeah. It was a pleasure speaking to you too. I'm Carlene, and this is Nutmeg Nation with the one and only Kirani James.